And our word for today on this memorial of the Queenship of the Blessed Virgin Mary, our word for today is greatest. Greatest, our word for today, taken from our gospel reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22. When the Pharisees heard that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a scholar of the law, tested him by asking, "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." The whole law and the prophets depend on these two commandments. One, we see the question being asked. It's a direct question. What is the greatest? Jesus doesn't hesitate. He gives one commandment as the greatest. It's always accompanied by the second in our own hearts and minds, right? In our own recollections, it always is followed by the second one, and we always put them together. But brothers and sisters, he answered the question, and he confirmed. Not only did the scholar ask what is the greatest commandment, Jesus gives it and then says, this is the greatest commandment. Again, what is it? You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. End of sentence. He has given the answer, and he again affirms, this is the greatest and the first commandment. He could have left it there. He answered the question. Again, he confirms the answer that he is giving is speaking directly to what is the greatest commandment. And then he follows it with the second. You shall love your neighbor as yourself, which he says is like the first commandment, the greatest commandment, but it's not the first and greatest commandment. So why is the first commandment greatest and then followed by the second? One, to love the Lord our God with all our soul, with all of our strength, and with all of our heart is the greatest commandment because we can't accomplish anything else without that love for God. We cannot do the second commandment without that love that we have for God, without the willingness to give ourselves completely over to Him. But brothers and sisters, the second commandment, why does Jesus give the second commandment then? Because the second commandment confirms that the first commandment in our lives is authentic. The scripture says, how can you claim to love a God that you cannot see if you do not love the brother that you can see? And so Jesus says, you have to love your neighbor as yourself. I have to tell you, loving God and confessing my love for God, the fact that I've given my life over to Him, sometimes is far easier than loving my neighbor. And then I'm called to love my neighbor as myself, which what? Expects that I love myself. And sometimes I have a difficult time loving the guy in the mirror. So first, I have to see myself as God sees me. I need to begin to accept myself as God accepts me, that His love for me is perfect and it does not change. And so I can begin to receive that from myself and begin to see myself differently, and then my neighbor too, thus affirming and confirming my love for God, fulfilling the greatest commandment. Greatest, our word for today.